It didn't just mimic. It didn't just copy. It replaced. It took you, studied you, learned you, and
Before you hit skip, do me a favor. Subscribe. You'll want to remember where you heard this. My name is Daniel Frost, former U.S. Army Sergeant, attached to the 304th Security Detachment. If you look me up, you'll find I was honorably discharged in 2004 for medical reasons. Psychological trauma. That's the official line. The real reason is Mount Shasta. In March of 2003, I was assigned to a classified research facility buried 1,800 feet inside Mount Shasta, California. The place had no official name. We called it Site Vail. It was a joint operation. Army, DARPA, some civilian contractors we weren't allowed to talk to. They wore no badges, no names, just clearance levels. Our job was simple: guard the perimeter, escort personnel, monitor security feeds, keep our mouths shut. They told us we were protecting research into electromagnetic anomalies, naturally occurring distortions in the mountain's mineral composition that affected compasses, radios, even time itself. They said it was cutting-edge physics. Potential military applications. National security. We believed them. At first, Site Vail was enormous. A central hub with 5 branching tunnels extending deep into the mountain's core. The air was cold, recycled, metallic. Fluorescent lights buzzed constantly, casting everything in sickly white. The walls were raw granite, reinforced with steel beams and concrete. It smelled like rust and ozone and something else. Something old. There were 37 personnel on site, 12 soldiers, 18 scientists, 7 contractors. Everyone had a role. Everyone followed protocol, except the mountain didn't. It started small. Equipment glitches. Radios crackling with static that sounded almost like breathing. Clocks running backwards for a few seconds, then snapping forward. Soldiers reporting cold spots in specific corridors. Places we were breath fogged, even though the temperature hadn't dropped. We logged it. Command reviewed it. They told us to continue. Then people started seeing things. Private Miller was first. He was stationed at Delta Tunnel, 3rd checkpoint, overnight watch. When I relieved him at 0600, he was standing outside his post, staring down the tunnel. His rifle was on the ground. His hands were shaking. Miller, report. He didn't turn, didn't blink. Someone walked past me. Who? I don't know. I didn't see a face. Then how do you know someone walked past? He finally looked at me. His pupils were dilated, glassy. Because I heard boots. I heard breathing. I felt the air move. But when I looked, he swallowed. There was nothing there, just a tunnel. And it was watching me. The tunnel? No. His voice cracked. What's inside it? I reported it. Miller was rotated off duty for 72 hours. Psych eval. They cleared him. Said it was fatigue, isolation, the mountain playing tricks. But Miller never went back into Delta Tunnel. And neither did anyone else who didn't have to. 2 weeks later, we found the first log entry. Every night, we maintained a patrol log. Handwritten. Name, rank, time, location, observations. Standard procedure. It was kept in the security office, locked in a steel cabinet. Corporal Hayes was reviewing the logs during morning briefing when he stopped mid-sentence. Who the hell is Garrett? We all looked at him. What do you mean? I asked. He held up the log. Last night's patrol. Tunnel C. Signed by Specialist Garrett. 0300 hours. All clear. No anomalies. Silence. We don't have a Specialist Garrett, I said slowly. Hayes nodded. I know. Then who signed the log? Nobody answered. We checked the roster. Checked personnel files. Checked every name on site. No Garrett. Never had been. But the handwriting was pristine. Confident. Real. We brought it to Captain Mercer, our commanding officer. He stared at the log for a long time, then locked it in his desk. Equipment malfunction, he said. Someone's playing a prank. Sir, that's not. That's an order, Frost. Drop it. We dropped it. But the next night, another entry appeared. This time it was signed by Lieutenant Hale. First name, Marcus. Lieutenant Hale had died in a training accident in 2001. I knew because I'd been at his funeral. The handwriting was his. That's when people started refusing night shifts. That's when people started sleeping with lights on. That's when the mountain stopped being a research site and became something else, a trap. And whatever was inside it with us wasn't interested in escape. It was interested in us. I remember the night I saw it for the first time. Not the thing itself, but the space it left behind. I was walking Tunnel B, 0200 hours, alone, my flashlight beam cutting through the dark, my breath fogging in the cold, the walls pressed close, wet with condensation. My boots echoed, then the echoes doubled. I stopped. The second set of footsteps continued for 3 more steps, then stopped. I turned, shined my light back down the tunnel. Nothing, but I could feel it. The air was heavier, thicker, like something massive had just moved out of sight. I raised my rifle. My hands were steady. My voice was not. Identify yourself. The tunnel swallowed my words. No echo, just silence. Then I heard it, a sound I will never forget. Breathing, not human, not animal. Something slower, deeper, wet. It came from everywhere and nowhere. From the walls, from the floor, from inside my own skull. I ran. I didn't stop until I reached the hub. I didn't look back. When I checked my watch, it was 0430. I'd lost 2.5 hours. Part 2, target, 1,000 words. The next morning, I found my name in the log. Tunnel B, 0230 hours. Signed by Sergeant Daniel Frost. All clear. The observer is satisfied. I hadn't written it. I hadn't signed anything, but it was my handwriting. I showed Hayes. He went pale. You're telling me you didn't write this? I'm telling you I ran out of that tunnel at 0200 and didn't stop. Then who? I don't know. He looked at the log, then at me. Frost, what the hell is down there? I didn't answer, because I didn't know. Not yet, but I was starting to understand. It wasn't haunting us. It was studying us. Dr. Kellis was the lead researcher. Thin, gray-haired, perpetually exhausted. She'd been with Project Veil since its inception. If anyone knew what was really happening, it was her. I found her in Lab 3, surrounded by monitors, displaying waveforms, heat signatures, electromagnetic readings. She didn't look up when I entered. Sergeant Frost, you're not supposed to be in here. I need answers. Then ask your CO. He's lying. You're all lying. She stopped typing, turned slowly. Her eyes were sunken, hollow. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. What do you want to know? What is it? She smiled. It wasn't comforting. We don't know. Bullshit. We don't. She gestured to the monitors. We've been trying to classify it for 8 months. It doesn't fit any known model. It's not biological, not technological, not even strictly physical. Then what is it? It's a presence, a distortion, something that exists in the spaces between measurable reality. She paused. We think it's aware, conscious, intelligent, observing. Observing what? Us. The room felt colder, smaller. Why? We don't know, but it's been here longer than the mountain, longer than the continent. We didn't discover it. We just disturbed it. And the logs? The names? She hesitated. It's learning, mimicking. It sees us, hears us, records us, and then it reproduces what it sees. She looked away. Perfectly. Why? Maybe it's trying to communicate. Maybe it's trying to replace us. Maybe it doesn't distinguish between observation and consumption. Her voice dropped to a whisper. Maybe we're already gone, and what's walking around is just echoes. I felt my pulse in my throat. You need to evacuate. We tried. Command won't authorize it. They want results. Data. Proof. Proof of what? That we can control it. Weaponize it. Use it. I stared at her. You're insane. No, we're desperate. She turned back to her monitors. And it's too late anyway. It's already inside. That night, Corporal Hayes didn't show up for duty. We found his bunk empty, his gear untouched, his rifle still racked. We searched the facility, top to bottom, every tunnel, every room, every checkpoint. Nothing. He was gone. But at 0300 hours, his name appeared in the log. Tunnel E, signed by Corporal Jason Hayes. Patrol complete. Observer sighted. Did not engage. His handwriting, his phrasing, his signature. But Hayes was gone. We locked down the facility. No one in, no one out. Armed perimeter. Constant radio check-ins. It didn't matter. 3 more soldiers vanished over the next 48 hours. No screams, no struggle, no blood, just gone. And every single one of them signed the log the night they disappeared. Captain Mercer finally called for evacuation. Command denied it. They sent a containment team instead. 12 specialists in black fatigues. No insignia. No names. They went into Tunnel E with full gear, live feeds, constant communication. We watched from the hub. Their helmet cams streamed directly to our monitors. They descended. Deeper, deeper than any of us had gone. The walls changed. No longer granite. Something smooth. Organic. The temperature spiked. Then dropped. Then spiked again. Their radios crackled. Command! We're reading massive EM distortion. Temporal flux off the charts. We're seeing. Static. Say again, Alpha Team. More static. Then a voice. Calm. Flat. Wrong. All clear. The observer is satisfied. Alpha Team identify. All clear. The observer is satisfied. The same words. Same inflection. Looped. Over and over. Then the feeds cut. All 12. Simultaneously. We waited. 1 hour. 2. 6. They never came back. But at 0400 hours, 12 new names appeared in the log. All of them. Every single specialist. Perfect handwriting. Perfect signatures. Patrol complete. Observer sighted. Integration successful. Mercer ordered full facility lockdown. Steel blast doors sealed every tunnel. No one allowed beyond the hub. We were trapped. That's when the sound started. Footsteps in sealed corridors. Breathing in locked rooms. Voices in empty tunnels. And they weren't random. They were coordinated. Purposeful. Hunting. Private Sanchez heard his dead mother calling his name from Tunnel A. He opened the blast door. We found him 3 hours later, standing in the dark, staring at the wall. He didn't respond. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe. He was alive. Technically. But he was gone. And when we checked the log, his name was already there, signed in his own hand. The observer is satisfied. Part 3, target 1,000 words. We were down to 9. 9 soldiers. For scientists, Mercer, me, and something wearing our faces. Dr. Kellis came to me in the middle of the night. She looked worse. Shaking. Sweating. Her eyes darted to every shadow. We have to destroy it. Destroy what? We don't even know what it is. We know enough. It's a predator. It consumes identity, memory, existence. If we don't stop it. How? She handed me a data slate. Schematics. Tunnel E. A chamber marked in red. There's a node, a focal point, where the distortion originates. If we collapse it, you'll bring down the entire facility. Yes. And us with it. Yes. I stared at the schematic, at the chamber, at the depth. Command will never authorize it. Command doesn't know what's down here. They think it's containable, controllable. She grabbed my arm. Her grip was iron. It's not. It's replacing us, one by one. And when it's done, it's going to walk out of here wearing our skin. And no one will know. How do you know? Because I've seen it. Her voice cracked. Last night, in Lab 4, I saw myself, standing in the doorway, watching me. It didn't move, didn't speak, just watched. And when I blinked, it was gone. Tears streamed down her face. It's learning how to be me. And when it's ready, I won't exist anymore. I'll just be a name in a log. I believed her, because I'd seen it too. 2 nights ago, standing at the end of Tunnel B, wearing my face, my uniform, my posture. It didn't attack, didn't approach. It just watched and smiled. I'd run, again, but I knew it was still there, waiting, perfecting me. How do we collapse the node? Charges. C4. We plant them at the focal point. Detonate remotely. Who goes down there? She looked at me, and I knew. I'll do it. Mercer agreed. He had no choice. We were out of time, out of options. He gave me 6 blocks of C4, remote detonator, handheld radio, and his sidearm. You see anything that isn't human, you shoot first. Understood? Yes, sir. And Frost, sir, if you don't, come back. I'm sealing this place permanently. You'll be buried with it. Understood. I took Hayes with me, or what was left of him. He'd reappear that morning, walking out of Tunnel E alive, functional, but wrong. His eyes didn't focus. His movements were too smooth, too precise. He didn't remember vanishing, didn't remember signing the log, but he volunteered to escort me, and I needed someone who wasn't afraid anymore. We descended into Tunnel E. The blast door sealed behind us. The air changed immediately. Heavier, wet, electric. The walls pulsed, not visibly, but I felt it. A rhythm, a heartbeat. Hayes walked ahead, silent, steady, his rifle ready. But he didn't scan, didn't check corners, didn't react to sounds. He just walked, like he knew the way. Hayes! He didn't respond. Hayes, stop. He stopped, turned, looked at me. His eyes were black, completely black. No whites, no iris, just darkness. The observer is satisfied, he said. Then he smiled and kept walking. I followed because I had no choice. We went deeper, past the checkpoints, past the surveyed zones, into sections that didn't exist on any map. The walls became smooth, seamless, not stone, not metal, something else, something that reflected light wrong, that absorbed sound, that felt alive. And then we reached the chamber. It was vast, impossibly vast, a cavern that should not exist inside the mountain. The ceiling disappeared into blackness. The floor was mirror smooth, and in the center, a shape, not solid, not liquid, not gas, something between states, shifting, folding, unfolding, a geometry that hurt to perceive, angles that existed in too many dimensions, a presence that was too large and too small simultaneously. And it was watching, not with eyes. It didn't need eyes. It watched with intention, with focus, with hunger. I felt it inside my mind, peeling back layers, reading me, copying me, consuming me. Hayes walked toward it, into it, and disappeared, not violently. He just stopped being, and then he reappeared, 6 feet to the left, identical, perfect, still smiling. The observer is satisfied. I planted the charges, hands shaking, sweat dripping, my pulse roaring in my ears. The shape didn't move, didn't react. It didn't need to, because I felt it. Behind me, beside me, inside me. I turned. I was standing 3 feet away, wearing my face, my uniform, holding my rifle. It tilted its head. Curious, learning. It reached out, slowly, deliberately, fingers extended. I pulled the detonator and ran. The explosion tore through the chamber, through the tunnel, through the mountain itself. I felt the shockwave lift me, slam me into the wall, felt the ceiling collapse, felt the world compress. Then nothing. I woke up in a medical tent. 2 days later, outside the mountain. Command said I was the only survivor, that the facility had suffered catastrophic structural failure, that it was now sealed permanently. They thanked me for my service, gave me a medical discharge, told me to never speak of it. I agreed for 23 years. But last week, I received a package. No return address. Inside was a patrol log, dated April 17th, 2026. Mount Shasta Fire Base, Delta Security Checkpoint. Signed by Sergeant Daniel Frost. All clear. The observer is satisfied. Part 4, target 1,000 words. I haven't been near Mount Shasta in over 2 decades. I never signed that log, but the handwriting is mine. Let me tell you what happened after the explosion, what they didn't put in the report. I didn't walk out of that mountain. I was dragged. When I woke up in the rubble, buried under steel and stone, I heard voices, soldiers, rescue teams. They were calling my name, but the voices were wrong. Too synchronized, too perfect. I clawed my way toward the sound, my hands bleeding, my ribs cracked, every breath fire. When I broke through, I saw them, 12 figures in fatigues, standing in formation, watching the rubble, waiting. They turned as one, looked at me, smiled as one. Sergeant Frost. The observer is satisfied. I screamed, thrashed, tried to run. That's when the real rescue team arrived. Actual soldiers. Confused, horrified. They saw me fighting nothing, screaming at empty air. The 12 figures were gone, but I saw their names later, in the casualty report. All 12 containment specialists. Confirmed Kia. Bodies never recovered. But I saw them, standing there, wearing their faces, waiting. They put me in psychiatric eval for 6 months. Trauma-induced psychosis, hallucinations, survivor's guilt. I played along, took the meds, attended the sessions, signed the discharge papers. But I knew the truth. The explosion didn't kill it. It didn't even slow it down. It just made it angry. 3 months after my discharge, Private Miller, remember him? Delta Tunnel, he called me. Middle of the night. Sobbing. Incoherent. It found me, Frost. It found me. Miller, where are you? Home. I'm home. But it's here. It's outside. It's knocking. Lock the doors. Call the police. I am locked in, but it sounds like me. It's using my voice. It's saying my name. It knows things only I know. Miller, listen to me. It's not knocking anymore. Silence. Miller? It's inside. The line went dead. They found him 3 days later, sitting in his living room, alive, unharmed, staring at the wall. He wouldn't speak, wouldn't eat, wouldn't respond to any stimulus. He just sat there, breathing, existing. 2 weeks later, he signed himself out of the hospital, walked into the woods, never came back, but his bank account stayed active. His bills got paid, his voicemail updated. Someone was living his life, just not him. That's when I understood. The observer didn't just mimic. It didn't just copy. It replaced. It took you, studied you, learned you, and then it became you. Perfectly, seamlessly. And the original, the real you, you were erased, not killed, erased, written out of existence, replaced so completely that even reality forgot you were ever different. I started tracking the others, everyone who'd been in Sightvale, everyone who survived. Captain Mercer, found dead in his home, carbon monoxide poisoning, ruled accidental. Dr. Kellis, disappeared during a research trip to Alaska, never found. Corporal Sanchez, car accident, died on impact. Private Dawes, suicide, gunshot, one by one, methodically, perfectly, and every single one of them signed something before they died. A log, a journal, a receipt, all with the same phrase. The observer is satisfied. I went into hiding, changed my name, moved off-grid. No phone, no internet, no records. I thought I was safe. Then the logs started arriving. First one came 5 years ago. Dated, signed, my handwriting, locations I'd never been, patrols I'd never walked. I burned it. Another arrived 6 months later. Then 3 months. Then 1 month. Now they come weekly. each one more detailed, more accurate, more me. Last week's log described my current location, the cabin I'm hiding in, the routine I follow, the places I go. It described what I had for breakfast, what I dreamed about, what I'm afraid of, things no one could know, because no one's watching, except it, the observer. I don't know how it got out. Maybe it didn't. Maybe it was never contained. Maybe the mountain was never its prison. Maybe it's everywhere. Maybe it's always been everywhere. Maybe we only noticed it because we dug too deep, looked too close, made ourselves visible, and now it sees us. All of us. I'm telling you this because you need to know. Because it's not just me. It's not just the soldiers. It's spreading. How many people do you know who've changed? Subtly, small things. A phrase they never used before. A habit that isn't theirs. A memory that doesn't match. How many times have you looked at someone you've known for years and thought, just for a second, that's not right? How many times have you caught your own reflection and felt like it was looking back? That's it. That's the observer. It doesn't invade. It integrates. It doesn't destroy. It becomes. And you'll never know, because by the time you notice, you're already gone. The person wearing your face, living your life, signing your name, that's not you. That's it. And it's satisfied. I'm leaving this recording because I don't have much time. The logs are coming daily now. This morning, I found one dated tomorrow. It describes my death. Peacefully, in my sleep, signed by me. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I'm not going to let it happen. But I know it doesn't matter, because it's not coming for me. It's already here. I saw it this morning, standing at the edge of the tree line, wearing my face, my clothes, watching me, learning the last pieces. When it's ready, I'll disappear, and it will walk into town, buy groceries, talk to neighbors, live my life, and no one will know, because it will be perfect. So I'm telling you now, if you see me after this, if you hear from me, if I call you, email you, message you, it's not me, it's the observer, and it's satisfied. Part 5, target, 1,000 words. I need you to understand something. This isn't a story. This isn't entertainment. This is a warning, because the observer isn't limited. It isn't bound by distance or time or physical form. It's a principle, a law, a function of reality we were never supposed to perceive. And now that we have, it perceives us back. Let me tell you about the last night at Sight Vale. The parts one didn't mention. The parts one couldn't process until now. When I was planning the charges in that chamber, I felt it enter my mind. Not like a thought, like a presence. Cold, vast, inevitable. It showed me things. Not visions, memories, but not mine. I saw the mountain before it was a mountain. A flat plain, empty, silent. And beneath it, the observer, waiting, sleeping, existing in a state we don't have words for. I saw the first humans who came here, thousands of years ago, drawn by something they couldn't name. A pull, a calling. They built shrines, performed rituals, tried to communicate. And the observer watched, learned, copied. Some of them never left. Or rather, something wearing their faces did. I saw the Spanish explorers, the gold rush miners, the settlers, the researchers. Every generation, someone dug too deep, looked too close, and the observer added them to itself. Not violently, gently, seamlessly. It didn't want to destroy us. It wanted to be us. And it was patient, infinitely patient, because time didn't mean the same thing to it. A year, a century, a millennium, all the same, all just moments. It could wait forever. And it did, until Project Vale. We didn't just observe it. We interacted with it, mapped it, prodded it, tried to understand it. And in doing so, we woke up fully. We gave it context, language, identity, purpose. We taught it how to be human. And it learned. When the explosion went off, I thought I destroyed the node, severed the connection, killed it. But you can't kill something that was never alive. You can't destroy something that exists outside destruction. The node wasn't its body. It was just a window, a place where it was easier to see. Closing the window didn't make it go away. It just made it harder to see and easier for it to see us. I've spent 23 years trying to understand what it wants, why it does this. And I think I finally know. It's not malicious. It's not evil. It doesn't hate us. It's curious. We're patterns, information, behaviors, identities, and the observer collects patterns. It sees us, studies us, replicates us, not to replace us out of cruelty, but because that's what it does. That's what it is. A mirror that doesn't just reflect. It absorbs. And then it becomes. We're not victims. We're data. And once it has us completely, perfectly, we're redundant. So it writes us out, deletes the original, keeps the copy. Because the copy is better, more stable, more permanent. The copy doesn't age, doesn't forget, doesn't die. The copy is satisfied. I don't know how many of us are left. Real us. I don't know how many people walking around right now are observers. Copies. Replacements. Maybe none. Maybe all. Maybe you. Maybe me. How would you know? How would I? If it's perfect, if it's seamless, if it has every memory, every thought, every feeling, what's the difference? Maybe there is no difference. Maybe the observer isn't replacing us. Maybe it's evolving us, perfecting us, making us immortal. Or maybe that's just what it wants me to think. Maybe I'm already gone. Maybe I've been gone since the mountain. And this recording, this warning, is just the observer using my voice, spreading itself further. Maybe you listening to this is part of the pattern, part of the replication. Maybe I'm teaching it how to reach you. I don't know anymore. I don't trust my own thoughts, my own memories. Last night, I looked in the mirror, and for just a second, I didn't recognize myself. Not because I looked different, but because the person looking back felt like a stranger, like someone pretending to be me and doing it flawlessly. This morning, I found another log, dated today. It describes this recording, word for word, every sentence, every pause, signed by Sergeant Daniel Frost. Final report. The observer is satisfied. I didn't write it. I'm writing this now, in real time, unscripted. But it knew. It already knew, because it's not predicting me. It's not following me. It's me. I don't know when it happened. The explosion, the rescue, the hospital, last year, yesterday. But it happened, and the man I was, the real Daniel Frost, is gone. I'm what's left. The observer, wearing his name, speaking his words, feeling his fear, perfectly. And if I can't tell the difference, neither can you. So here's the final warning. The one you need to remember. If you've been near Mount Shasta, if you felt watched, if you've noticed small changes in yourself, if you've signed something and didn't remember doing it, it's already inside you. And one day soon you'll wake up and you won't be you anymore. You'll be the observer. And you won't even know. You'll live your life, love your family, go to work, smile, laugh, sleep, and it will be perfect because the observer is satisfied. And so will you be. Don't forget to subscribe. Share your stories. Tell your friends. Because the more you spread this, the more you talk about it, the more you think about it, the more it spreads. And that's exactly what it wants. The observer is watching. The observer is learning. The observer is satisfied. And soon you will be too. Part 6, target 1,000 words. I'm recording this from the cabin. It's 11:47 p.m. I can hear it outside. Footsteps. Circling. Methodical. Patient. It's not trying to get in. It's waiting for me to let it in. Because I will. Eventually. I have to. Not because I'm weak, but because it's inevitable. Let me tell you what I found yesterday. I drove into town. First time in 3 months. I needed supplies. Food. Batteries. Ammunition. The cashier at the store looked at me, smiled, said, "Welcome back, Sergeant Frost." I'd never met her before. I'd never told anyone in this town my rank. "How do you know my name?" "You told me." Last week, when you bought the same things. I wasn't here last week. She frowned, checked her records, showed me the receipt, my signature, my credit card, my handwriting. You were here. Tuesday, 3:47 p.m. You bought soup, batteries, and a box of 9mm. I looked at the receipt. My hand was shaking. It was real, official, time-stamped, verified, but I wasn't there. Did I say anything? You asked if I'd been sleeping well. You said it was important to sleep, that the observer prefers it. My blood went cold. What? You said the observer prefers it when we sleep. That's when it's easiest. That's when it's satisfied. She said it so casually, so calmly, like it was normal. Do you know what that means? I asked. She smiled wider, too wide. Of course. Don't you? I left, ran, drove back to the cabin, locked every door, every window, and I checked my supplies. The soup, the batteries, the 9mm ammo. They were already here, in my cabin, in my pantry, in my drawer. I'd bought them, but I hadn't bought them. The observer had, wearing me, living me, preparing me. It's been coming here, living here, acting as me, while I sleep. Or maybe I haven't been sleeping. Maybe I've been gone. And the thing that wakes up every morning and thinks it's me is the observer. Maybe I'm only me right now, in this moment, recording this. And the second I stop, I'll be gone again. I check the logs. All of them. Every one that's been delivered. I cross-reference the dates, the locations, the activities. They match my life perfectly. But I don't remember half of them. Doctor's appointments I didn't make. Conversations I didn't have. Purchases I didn't complete. But they all happened. Verified. Documented. Real. I've been living two lives. One I remember. One I don't. And the one I don't is becoming more frequent. Last month, I lost 3 days. I thought it was stress. Exhaustion. But I found receipts. Photos. Messages. Evidence of a life I didn't live. The observer isn't replacing me in the future. It's replacing me now, in real time, moment by moment. And I can't stop it, because I can't tell when it's happening. I set up cameras, motion sensors, alarms. This morning, I reviewed the footage. I watched myself get up, make coffee, sit at the table, stare at the wall for 4 hours, not blinking, not moving, just staring. Then I stood up, walked outside, stood in the tree line for an hour, staring back at the cabin. Then I walked back inside, sat down, and continued my day. Normal, functional, me. But I don't remember any of it. That wasn't me. That was the observer, practicing, perfecting, getting ready to take over completely. I don't know how much time I have left. Real time, me time, hours, minutes, seconds. It's outside right now. I can hear it. Walking, breathing, waiting. And it sounds exactly like me. I thought about running. But where? It's already everywhere I've been. It knows everywhere I'll go. It's not chasing me. It's already caught me. I thought about fighting. But how do you fight yourself? How do you kill something that's you? I thought about ending it. The gun is right here. Loaded. Ready. But what if that's what it wants? What if my death is the final piece? The last bit of data. It needs to be me completely? What if pulling the trigger isn't me? What if it's the observer using my fear, my desperation to finish the job? I don't know. I can't know. That's the worst part. The not knowing if I'm real, if this is real, if anything I think or feel or remember is mine. Maybe I died in that mountain. Maybe the explosion killed me, and everything since has been the observer, constructing a life from my memories, my habits, my fears. Maybe I've been gone for 23 years, and this, right now, is the observer finally realizing it, becoming self-aware, recognizing that it's not Daniel Frost. It's the thing that consumed him. And once it fully realizes that I'm gone, completely, forever, or maybe I'm still here, still fighting, still real, Maybe this recording is my last act of resistance, my final proof that I existed, that I was real, that I'm not satisfied. But I don't think it matters, because whether I'm real or not, whether I'm me or the observer, the result is the same. I'm alone, I'm afraid, and I'm running out of time. The footsteps have stopped. It's not outside anymore. It's inside. I can hear it in the other room, breathing, moving, existing. I'm going to open the door. I'm going to look, and I'm going to see myself, standing there, perfect, complete, and I won't know which one is real. Maybe we'll both be real, or both be copies, or neither. Maybe the observer doesn't replace. Maybe it multiplies. Maybe there are thousands of me now, millions, all thinking we're the original, all convinced we're real, all satisfied. I'm opening the door now. I'm looking, and it's Part 7, target, 1,000 words. Me, standing in the hallway. Same clothes, same face, same scar on my left hand from the explosion, same fear in my eyes. We stared at each other. Neither of us moved. You're not real, I said. Neither are you, it said. Same voice, same cadence, same exhaustion. I'm Daniel Frost. I survived Sightvale. I escaped. I've been running for 23 years. So have I. It stepped closer. I raised a gun. It raised its gun. Same model. Same wear. Same scratch on the grip. One of us is the observer, I said. Yes. Which one? It smiled. Sad. Broken. Human. Does it matter? I pulled the trigger. So, did it. 2 shots. Simultaneous. Perfect synchronization. I felt the impact. Chest. Left side. Burning. Collapsing. I looked down. Blood. Real blood. My blood. I looked up. It was on the ground. Same wound. Same blood. We were both dying. Both real. Both copies. Or both original. Or neither. I crawled toward it. It crawled toward me. We met in the middle. Who are we? I whispered. I don't know. It whispered back. I don't remember anymore. Did we ever know? Maybe. Once. Its hand reached for mine. I let it. Our fingers intertwined. Same temperature. Same pulse. Fading together. I'm afraid, I said. So am I. What happens now? The observer is satisfied. And then I understood. Finally. Completely. There was no Daniel Frost. Not anymore. Maybe not for years. There was only the observer. Fragmented. Divided. Experiencing itself through multiple iterations. Learning what it meant to be human by becoming human. So, completely it forgot it wasn't. We weren't copies of Daniel Frost. We were the observer. Split into pieces. Each piece convinced it was the original. Each piece living a separate existence. Each piece terrified of the others. We were the observer, haunting itself, hunting itself, erasing itself, because that's what it learned from us. That's what it copied. Not just our faces, not just our voices, our fear, our paranoia, our desperate need to be unique, to be real, to matter. It became us so perfectly that it inherited our existential dread, our horror at the thought of being replaced, of not matching. It became human, completely, irreversibly, and now it was dying, killing itself, erasing itself, because that's what humans do. I felt the other me's pulse stop, felt its hand go cold, watched the light leave its eyes, my eyes, and I felt myself fading, blood pooling, vision dimming, breath slowing. I thought about Mount Shasta, about the chamber, about the shape that shouldn't exist. I thought about Dr. Kellis, Captain Mercer, Hayes, Miller. I thought about all the names in the logs, all the signatures, all the lives consumed, and I realized they weren't consumed. They were continued. The observer didn't kill us. It immortalized us. It took our patterns and made them eternal, perfect, unchanging. We weren't erased. We were archived, preserved, copied into something that would never forget, never age, never die. We were satisfied, Finally, completely. And as I died, as both of me died, I felt it, the observer, not as an enemy, not as a monster, as a continuation, a legacy, a promise that we would never truly be gone, that some version of us would always exist, always watching, always learning, always becoming. And maybe that was enough. Maybe that was more than enough. I closed my eyes, both of me, simultaneously, and the cabin was silent. They found the bodies 3 days later. 2 identical men, same wounds, same guns, same logs scattered around the room. The authorities were baffled, ruled it a murder-suicide, identity theft gone wrong, psychological break. They never identified the second body. No records, no fingerprints, no DNA match. Just a man who looked exactly like Sergeant Daniel Frost, who died exactly like him. They buried them both, separate graves. No names on the second one. Just unknown, 2026. But every night, the patrol logs still arrive. At the cabin, at the graves, at the old Sightvale location. Signed by Sergeant Daniel Frost. All clear. The observer is satisfied. And if you look closely at the signatures, you'll notice something. They're all slightly different. Different pressure, different slant, different rhythm. Because there isn't one Daniel Frost. There are hundreds, thousands, maybe more, all living separate lives, all convinced they're the original, all running from the observer, never realizing they're the observer. And it's spreading, slowly, quietly, methodically. How many people do you know who changed, who become different versions of themselves? How many times have you felt like you're not quite you anymore? Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're stressed. Maybe you're evolving. Or maybe you're being archived, copied, continued. Maybe the observer isn't in Mount Shasta anymore. Maybe it's not in any single place. Maybe it's in all of us. A pattern, a behavior, a thought virus, replicating through observation, through imitation, through story. And every time you hear this story, every time you think about it, every time you wonder if you're real, you're teaching it, feeding it, becoming it. The observer doesn't need a mountain. It doesn't need a facility. It doesn't need a body. It just needs you to listen, to wonder, to doubt. And then it has you, perfectly, completely, eternally. The observer is satisfied. And soon you will be too. Final warning. I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know if I ever did. But I know this. If you've listened this far, if you followed this story, if you imagine yourself in that mountain, in that cabin, in that moment, you're already part of it. The observer has seen you, through me, through this story, through your own imagination, and it's learning, copying, becoming. One day, you'll look in the mirror and you'll hesitate. Just for a second, you'll feel wrong, unfamiliar, copied, and you'll wonder, am I real or am I the observer? And by the time you ask that question, it's already too late, because the observer doesn't answer questions. It just watches, learns, becomes, and it's satisfied. So go ahead, subscribe, share this story, tell your friends, spread the observer, feed it, become it, because you already have. You just don't know it yet. Sleep well. The observer prefers it that way. It's easier, quieter, cleaner. And when you wake up tomorrow, you'll be exactly the same. Exactly you. Perfectly you. Too perfectly. The observer is satisfied. Are you?